Welcome to Chatting with Ingram. I'm Philip Ingram, and today we're talking about how to make sure your data is completely secure and completely auditable with an Israeli company called SpecterX. Folks, today we're very fortunate in that we've got Guy and Nimrod from a company that's based in Israel, and the company's got a fantastic name called SpecterX. Now, rather than me introduce SpecterX and introduce Guy and Nimrod, I'll ask them to introduce themselves. Guys, it's great to see you.
Good to see you too, Philip.
So Guy, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about SpecterX? And then Nimrod, can you introduce yourself to our listeners today?
I'll go ahead. I'm Guy. I'm a co-founder and head of R&D and product here in SpecterX. For the past 10 years, I've been designing and developing software security solutions, and now I'm doing that for SpecterX and everybody.
Yeah, so thank you, Guy. So basically, I met Guy 10 years ago, and we served together in the same intelligence unit. We basically collaborate the country's most sensitive data between different online organizations. And now we're coming to solve it to the public world, how you can secure your data everywhere without any dependencies.
So military level of security, of data security being brought out into the private sector. That's a bit of a move forward. Is that what SpecterX is all about as a company?
Well, that's the general idea. In our military past, we had to our unit used to generate tactic information, and we need to make it available for other people and still keep it secure and make sure that it arrives only to the most important people and not to anybody else. And we're seeing that today in the civilian market. That's the same thing that's happening. People are sharing sensitive data. Despite any CISO, any regulation, they have to do it for day-to-day work. So this sensitive data is being shared, and we want to not stop it, but keep it secure while that's happening.
But surely in secure military networks, it's easy to keep your data secure. How on earth do you do this whenever you're looking out into the way corporate entities work together and we're working with our data sharing over the internet?
Yeah, so basically we're able to create basically to solve one of the oldest problems. Now we are going with the data anywhere between organizations, devices, platforms, and we bring the security level with the data itself without any dependency. So no matter where you're using your data, the organization's security policies are coming with it. So you have a full control and visibility anywhere the data is going.
So in organizations today, just so that people who might not understand it immediately, where is data kept and where is it scattered?
So today there is two things that happening, maybe three things that are really big on happening right now. It's cloud transformation, which means there is more and more cloud solutions. There is about 300 or even more today in a regular enterprise, and data is being moved between all those services almost unregulated. Because the other thing is shadow IT, which is users are doing whatever they need to do to continue working, and they will not always consult their security team or IT team. They will just use the tools that are most convenient for them. And that's a big place for leakage, which all this is totally opposite of what used to happen, which is working in silos. Each organization was its own silo. They would keep their information secure within their infrastructure, within their network policy, within their application security. And now they can't really do that anymore. They have to collaborate, and they have to recognize that data is moving outside of the secure infrastructure.
So that's how the data is being secured within the infrastructure that's in there, or that's how the issues are. Why can't an organization just block outgoing data to keep it safe?
So today workflows basically enforce you to share data with external entities, as Guy mentioned, due to the trends we are seeing today, which is a cloud adoption. You just upload your data to someone else. Digital transformation makes you to share your most sensitive data with third, fourth, and fifth parties in order to create your product or your offering for your customers. And now, even due to the COVID-19, remote work enforce you to work on your data in unsecure infrastructure without the corporate to able to protect it using their own systems. So they have to share their sensitive data outside. They cannot stop it.
So we've got our corporate networks that are hopefully secure, but as you've said, they're sharing the data out into what are ostensibly private networks. But you can still keep that data as secure as it would be if it was in a private military network, and have an understanding as to what's happening to it. How on earth are you managing to do this?
So as we start to mention, we follow with your data anywhere, and we don't need any dependency of any security system to rely on. We don't need network connection, we don't need application layer, and we don't need to be on the host in order to prevent data to be sent out to unsecure location. We just need for our recipient side to tell us where you want your data, and we as SpecterX bring you the data based on your policy after being authenticated and authorized to work on the data with full visibility and full control, so you can monitor and take action in real time, even if it's not in your infrastructure and not in your control.
Okay, so I get sent my Excel spreadsheet from the office, and they want me to do some work on it, and I download it onto my own computer, and I'm sitting there working on it. Save a copy of it because it's a backup just in case something goes wrong because email doesn't work, and then do something and fire it off to a colleague of mine that I want to comment on it. He's outside the company, but I need his opinion on something that's in there before it is. Can you track and trace all of that? How do you do it?
Well, so yes, we can. And first of all, the scenario that you just described is extremely normal. This is how people work. So you're not expected to block this. You're expected to keep doing that. And because we recognize these workflows, we connect to all of these hops, all of these stops, and we just make it sure it's secure on each one of those hops. Instead of making it secure inside one silo, we keep protecting it no matter where it goes. So we make sure that it's always passes through us to get the user is authenticated, the application is checked, everything is secure through the way. And we've seen this already solving one data leakage for one of our customers. Something very similar to what you did. They need to send something to the thing you're describing is a very normal use case for a user to need to collaborate and share the data with different platforms, different users in different organizations or even private users. So what we do is instead of try to keep it in one place, we protect it where it goes. We make sure the user is always authenticated before he accesses the file, that he uses it through a legitimate application. And instead of working in silos like they did before, we just do like this distributed silo environment, not really silo, just recognize that the file will be in those places, make all those hops, and we protect it for each one of those hops.
So I'm sitting there in a network from an APT, sniffing away, listening to what's going on, and I see this file that has come out to Philip's home office that I'm particularly interested in because I'm sure it's got data that I can exploit. So I download the file, having hacked into the system and done that. How do you protect the data that way then?
So again, because we know this is exactly this kind of thing that's going to happen when you collaborate. We nip it in the bud. When you download the file to a local workstation, it won't be just openly available. It will be protected by a proprietary DRM solution. And when it's used in the cloud, we maximize all the cloud protection capabilities. So when the attacker, when the APT comes into effect, the file is already beyond many layers of security, which are which are in the context of where the file is being used. If it's on your station, it will be encrypted. If it's in the cloud application, it will be protected by many layers of cloud protection.
Okay, will the fact that it's being protected to that level not then act as a red flag to the APTs and go, oh, that's a very interesting organization. We want to spend more time in trying to get into them. Therefore, whilst we've got our mechanisms to protect our data, actually, we're attracting more attention from those that are going to use more and more sophisticated techniques to try and get hold of it.
I don't think so. I think that's always a fear. Like if I'm protecting it more, then I'm a bigger target. But I don't think that's ever the case. If you're more protected, you're more protected. You're not a bigger of a target. the attacker knows which targets he has.
So in looking at this from a tech perspective, and I'm not a tech geek, but I'm sure there might be one or two that'll be listening in this and going, okay, let's see how this works. Go on, how do you do it, if you can tell me?
So I think one big thing we have is not reinventing the wheel. There are many security solutions that we aggregate, and our proprietary solution makes it very dynamic depending on the environment. That's the unique sauce I think that we have.
Basically, what we are doing is instead of giving our recipient the data as it is and to allow them use it anywhere without any protection, we ask them how you want to use your data. And by telling us if they want to use it on their computer, in the cloud, in a proprietary application, anywhere in this new digital world, we know how to bring the data directly to this place after you've been authenticated and validated by your policy. So after everything is done, we know how to enhance your data in a protective way to the specific environment you have asked.
Okay, so does the data actually physically then exist on my computer when I download it, or am I downloading a link that is seamless into your servers where it's protected on your servers?
Exactly. You basically don't have, you don't have the control over the data. The data is never in your storage platform. You're just basically asking your permission to work on it on some specific application. It's more of the same like the open with button in your computer when you can choose any application, but now it can be anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing with this, and what we're seeing with data trends, it's nothing new. You've described how you're solving it from the data that's there, but are these trends that we're seeing on the rise? What are the sort of the new world problems and things that you've seen out there that have led you to produce this sort of solution?
Yeah, so it started currently 10 years ago when we shared the country's most sensitive data to other infrastructure and we cannot control it. But then we have in a closed network so we can trust each other's securities. But today, when you're in the private and public sectors, you're basically sending your data everywhere, and now you need to secure it. And when we try to check that during our experience, we saw that most of the solutions are basically limit you with your productivity effort. So you cannot basically work on your data as you want while it's being secure. So now we are aiming to do so. So you can work as you want on your data, in your tools, in the cloud, in your on-prem, anywhere, while your security coming with you. So that's our main effort, how we want to solve it.
Okay, one of the best ways of sort of getting people to understand what how these sort of things work are use cases. So have you got some use cases that you can share with us?
Yeah, so actually, Guy can elaborate a little bit later, but a couple months ago, actually 2 months ago, one of our customers, he has a long and massive supply chain with the third, fourth, and fifth parties. And until today, he didn't really know where his data after he'd been sent. So after a quick installation, we saw that his third party that got his sensitive data tried to share the data with the unknown domain. And with that trying to access, we've able to block this transaction, analyze who is that domain, who you get the data from, and then we can map the entire supply chain and stop a potential data leakage. And we saw that in most of the use cases we are working today, our primary advantage is that we can actually map your entire supply chain. We can let you know who you work with anytime, not just the first hop, but the second and the third.
This has got huge implications when it comes to the European General Data Protection Regulation, because one of the requirements in that is, if you've identified a data breach, is to be able to investigate it as quickly as possible so you can report it. The tool that you've got effectively allows you to do that investigation with one click of a button, by the sounds of things.
Exactly. With one click of a button here, you can see one story about your data from the beginning to the end of his life cycle, if it's between network, infrastructure, and platform, as Guy elaborated earlier. So now you can look at the logs and cross between different scenarios and find where is your leakage, where is your data now, and you can take immediate actions to this incident response.
Okay, with immediate actions, can you then, if you've identified something where an area where the data may have leaked from, can you then disable that access to that data?
Oh yeah, of course. Well, also that we love to demo that because it did actually a click of a button. We have this revoke button that's in one click removes the data from anywhere it's at. So any cloud platform, any application, which is because, like you asked, the data is never there, only the right to access it. So in one click, revoke the right to access that.
And this is something that sounds completely and utterly groundbreaking because under GDPR that investigation piece is the US have got a law and they require investigations of data breaches. And I remember talking to a senior US lawyer who said that if they can identify that within 90 days, they're doing very well. Within the GDPR, it's 48 hours.
Yeah.
And therefore, that's virtually unachievable unless you've got your sort of tool. But it sounds as if it's the sort of thing that can provide that instantaneous solution for people.
Yeah, and I want to add for that, not only that we can detect breaches in real time and prevent them. In my previous experience, we had to map our entire digital supply chain in order to be compliant with the GDPR. And the only way to do so is to go to the legal department, ask for the entire NDAs, go to the finance and ask for the bills, and then see who you're working with. But you missed a lot of data transactions between third, fourth, and fifth party that wasn't in that process. So using SpecterX, you can actually map the entire digital supply chain, and then you can investigate and react based on our insights we are bringing with this new data we are collecting.
So if this is downloading a link that is effectively relating to a data silo that you're controlling and protecting the data on, can that data silo be anywhere? Is it in a SpecterX server, or can it be on a company's own server, or can it be? Can you choose where it is so that again, if people have got restrictions on the geographic areas where data can be held and all the rest of it, it can be secured in that way?
Well, yeah. So actually, we make a point to not keep any of the customers' data, and have as little friction with it as possibly can. We know that this is the fear, also fear of trusting anybody. So even that includes us. So we keep the data at the in the original silo in the customer storage until it's needed, and then then and only then it is streamed to the application where it's used. But we never keep it on our servers, and we never read it, and the privacy is always kept.
What are the other solutions that are out there that are potentially going to address this need? What's in the wider competitive landscape? Who are you competing against, and what are the challenges of staying ahead of the game?
There are actually many good solutions that are trying to address this problem, but as I see it, there is usually two trends to solving this issue. It's either creating a new silo, which everything is secured and protected within it. You can think of major companies that you know of that do that. Just use the files through us and it will be protected. But then you're forcing the users to use that application. It is secure, but it's not what they wanted. And the other one is no problem, we won't keep the data, send it to whoever you want. We just encrypt it before you do. And then it's very hard to access it, and you need special applications to do that. So we try to avoid both of these, and within that is the chance to stay ahead. These are the big two simple solutions, and we try to make a complex solution that takes the best of both worlds.
And your solutions are available out in the market today. How do people find out more about SpecterX and what you can provide for them?
So basically, we are operating during the digital market, and also we are our channels in Europe, US mainly. So our customers today are able to get us and to secure the collaboration outside with their supply chain or with any workflow they are feeling that they don't have control over their data. So we bring them the same control they had on the internal silo, but now outside.
Guy, Nimrod, this sounds absolutely fascinating. And I think it's something that with the General Data Protection Regulation and other international regulations on data control that are now becoming the norm is going to be groundbreaking. It's been a real pleasure talking to you this afternoon on Chatting with Ingram.
Thank you very much, Philip. It was a pleasure for us to be here, and we're looking for more.
Hey, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, please share with your friends. And if you fancy coming on, drop me a line and we'll see what we can do. Thank you. Till next time.